it's Sarah. Okay, so basically there's a lot that went down with Harry's Rolling Stone interview. Let me just say I was confused because most times I thought it was Harry, like don't get me wrong, it sounded like Harry, but other times I was like, what they're printing out in their magazine, this does not sound like Harry at all. Like he was swearing, he was using like she pronouns and he never does that. And I'm just like, is this even real? As we all know, what's in print doesn't always mean it's true. So today I'm going to read you guys what was in the Rolling Stone magazine, what Harry said, and other analysis behind that. So here's the latest news that's been happening in the past couple days. So before I go into what Harry actually said during the interview, I'm going to show you guys some pictures that got released from the Rolling Stone magazine of Harry. So brace yourselves. Say this, after looking at those pictures, do you think someone like that, someone like Harry Styles, the pictures that you just saw, do you think a person like that would say those things in an interview? Like again, as I said, I'm sure a lot of things in the interview Harry did say, but there was just some where I think it was taken out of context. So maybe he actually did say these things, but maybe he was talking about some other people. So maybe Harry did say these things, but maybe he was talking about someone completely different, and they made it seem like he was talking about a girlfriend. Maybe he was talking about his mom. But anyway, if you guys haven't read this magazine, you're probably like, what is she even talking about? So I'll just get into it. So first Harry says, I like to separate my personal life and work. It helps, I think, for me to compartmentalize. Sorry if I pronounced that word wrong. It's not about trying to make my career longer, like I'm trying to be this mysterious character, because I'm not. When I go home, I feel like the same person I was at school. You can't expect to keep that if you show everything. There's the work and the personal stuff, and going between the two is my favorite shit. It's amazing to me. Now, as you guys will notice throughout this whole interview, it seems like Harry is swearing a lot. And don't get me wrong, we've all heard Harry swear before. I know he swears, but it just seems like they made him out to be this person he's not. Like, I don't know if Harry swore this much. I know he only swore once in that post. But I mean, guys, it seemed like every time they asked him a question, he had a swear word come out of his mouth, and Harry's not like that. So I'm pretty sure Rolling Stone just put that in there to make Harry look more badass. Harry also says, most of the stuff that hurts me about what's going on at the moment is not politics, it's fundamentals. Equal rights for everyone, all races, sexes, everything. Sign of the Times came from, this isn't the first time we've been in a hard time, and it's not going to be the last time. The song is written from a point of view as if a mother was giving birth to a child, and there's a complication. The mother is told the child is fine, but you're not going to make it. The mother has 5 minutes to tell the child, go forth and conquer. The moment I realized that that's what Sign of the Times meant, bitch, I was gone. Like, we all were analyzing Sign of the Times. We were like, what the fuck does this mean? And then Harry comes out with this deep ass Tumblr shit, but like not even Tumblr shit, it's just like beautiful shit. Like, fuck me, Harry Styles, fuck me. Oh guys, by the way, happy 420. I don't know why I didn't say that in the beginning of the video. Sorry, that was totally random. Also, this says, it was in a London studio in late 2014 that Styles first brought up the idea of One Direction taking a break. He says, I didn't want to exhaust our fan base, he explains. If you're short-sighted, you can think, let's just keep touring. But we all thought too much of the group than to let that happen. You realize you're exhausted and you don't want to drain people's belief in you. I feel like Harry's so down to earth and business smart because of the people he hangs out with. He hangs out with really good people. He also says the one subject that hits the hardest is love. Whether it's platonic, romantic, loving it, gaining it, losing it, it always hits you hardest. I don't think people want to hear me talk about going to bars and how great everything is, the champagne popping. Who wants to hear about it? I don't want to hear my favorite artists talk about all the amazing shit they get to do. I want to hear, how did you feel when you were alone in that hotel room because you chose to be alone? Bitch, that is some deep shit. I swear Harry is a Tumblr blogger. Like, he has to have a blog. Like, I can see him writing poetry and these like long master posts. I mean, listen, I think to be a songwriter, you have to smoke a little weed. Like, don't tell me that Harry hasn't smoking some weed. I mean, look, anybody who goes to LA, lives in LA, weed is pretty normal. And Harry acts like he has a shit ton of it. I don't know about you guys, but I could just hear Harry talk all day. I can read what he has to say all day because he's just so deep about everything. Like, he's so intellectual. Like, I can't describe it, but he just knows shit. Like, he's so, like, deep in his mind, and I think you have to be when you're a songwriter, I don't know. But as you guys can probably tell from this whole interview so far, whenever Harry's talking about his music or who he is as a person, I think that's real. I believe Harry Styles said that. But I think when it came to him talking about Taylor Swift, supposedly, or like a girl, or using she pronouns and all that kind of stuff, I feel like that could have been twisted and taken out of context. And I'm not trying to cherry pick, I'm not trying to be biased, I'm just saying that this stuff, like this good stuff, compared to when he was talking about women, like it just seems so different. But anyway, I will get to that later on in the video. This also says, a year later, driving through mid-city Los Angeles in a dusty black Range Rover, he's lived here off and on for the past few years, always returning to London. Styles' car stereo pumps a mix of country and obscure classic rock. He says, I didn't want to write stories. I wanted to write my stories, things that happened to me. The number one thing was I wanted to be honest. I hadn't done that before. I don't know if you guys caught that last line, him saying that he wants to be honest. He's never done that before. That means a lot. That is deep. Harry's saying that in his music, he really hasn't been himself. He hasn't been honest, and we're actually going to hear that in the album. That says a lot for Harry Styles, and that actually explains everything that's gone on behind the scenes with their team and all that. And I'm really glad that Harry actually feels confident to be himself, to show himself, to be honest. And I'm glad he actually can now, like he has that freedom. And maybe it's because he's not under modest anymore, I don't know. And when Harry was talking about his first love, he says, she used to live an hour and a half away on the train, and I worked in a bakery for 3 years. I finished on Saturdays at 4:30, and it was a 4:42 train, and if I missed it, there wasn't one for another hour or two. So I'd finish and sprint to the train station, spent 70% of my wages on train tickets. Later, I'd remember her perfume, little things. I smell that perfume all the time. I'll be in a lift or a reception and say to someone, alien, right? And sometimes they're impressed, and sometimes they're a little creeped out, like, stop smelling me. Do you know what I love about that whole paragraph? The fact that Harry notices the little things about people, or like the important people in his life, like a smell. Like, even if he's not hanging out with that person anymore, he still remembers that smell, and that will bring back a memory for him, because, you know, smells do bring back memories. And I think that's just really cute. And a lot of fans were trying to say, no, Harry didn't say that because he's talking about a girl. But guys, look, Harry's talking about his first love, and didn't Harry say his first love was when he was 12? Even if Harry is gay, most gay guys I know have had girlfriends in the past, or they had like a first love. Even if it wasn't like a real love, they still had crushes on girls. And that was before they knew they were gay or before they came out. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Harry did say that regardless of what he identifies as. And when Harry was talking about romanticizing in darkness, Harry says, people romanticize places they can't get to themselves, he says. That's why it's fascinating when people go dark. When Van Gogh cuts off his ear, you romanticize those people, sometimes out of proportion. It's the same with music. You want a piece of that darkness to feel their pain, but also to step back into your own safer life. I can't say I had that. I had a really nice upbringing. I feel very lucky. I had a great family and always felt loved. There's nothing worse than an inauthentic, tortured person. They took my allowance away, so I did heroin. It's like, that's not how it works. I don't even remember what the question was. I think Harry was trying to say that he went off on another tangent. Like, the guy probably asked such a simple question, and then he went off on this huge paragraph. Again, you can't tell me that Harry's not smoking something behind the scenes. I mean, look, in reality, I'm joking. I'm not saying that for Harry to be creative, he has to be on drugs. But like, where is this coming from? He is so fucking deep. Like, what the fuck is this shit? It's beautiful. Like, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. Also, when Harry was talking about songwriting while in One Direction, the article says he didn't feel stifled in One Direction. He says, as much as interrupted, we were touring all the time, he recalls. I wrote more as we went, especially on the last 2 albums. There are songs from that period he loves, he says, like Olivia and Stockholm Syndrome, along with the earlier song Happily. But I think it was tough to really delve in and find out who you are as a writer when you're just kind of dipping your toe in each time. We didn't get the 6 months to see what kind of shit you can work with, to have time to live with a song, see what you love as a fan, chip at it, hone it, and go for that. It's heaven. I mean, look, I know nothing about songwriting. I'm not in a band, but I do believe that. Like, I feel like when you're in a band with like 4 other people, it's hard to really find yourself as a songwriter because you're just quickly writing them and everybody has to agree on it and you're just writing it. But I feel like when you're a solo artist, it's your own stuff and you have more time to perfect that for your own album. It's your own thing. So guys, regardless if you think One Direction are going solo permanently or not, I'm just really glad what One Direction are doing now with their solo projects, because they are gonna grow from this. This is gonna grow their creativity. Harry also says, I love the band and would never rule out anything in the future. The band changed my life and gave me everything. See, that is still proof that Harry loves One Direction and he's probably gonna come back. Harry can't forget where he belongs. He knows that One Direction got him to where he is today, and he is not taking advantage of that. He is not selfish. So yeah, maybe there's still a chance they'll come back. Harry also says, they say, I see her cardboard face every fucking day. I think they want me to apologize. Harry on what he hears most from the fans' parents. Literally, I have no cardboard cutout of Harry Styles, and I wish I did. So if you guys want to send me a cardboard cutout, hey, DM me. Harry says, piped her name onto it. She loved it. Glad she liked carrot cake. Harry on the cake he bought for Stevie Nicks. I always knew Harry was a fan of Stevie Nicks, but he's making it sound like he's friends with her, like they casually hang out, and that is amazing. When talking about musical influences, he says, a lot of my influences and the stuff that I loved is older, so the thing I didn't want to do was, I didn't want to put out my first album and be like, he's tried to recreate the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Loads of amazing music was written then, but I'm not saying I wish I lived back then. I wanted to do something that sounds like me. I just keep pushing forward. I mean, look, people just have to understand that it's called inspiration. Just because Harry makes something that sounds like it was from an older time, it doesn't mean that he thinks he's from that time, he's trying to be a hipster, or he wants to go back to that time. It just means that that's the music he likes, and he's making it, and it's his. Harry also says, she was always smarter than me, and I was always jealous of that. Harry on Gemma. I don't know about you guys, but I just love when Harry talks about Gemma. I really want an interview of just Harry and Gemma. Like, I want to see their dynamic. Also, Harry talked about his parents getting divorced, and he says, I don't remember. Honestly, when you're that young, you can kind of block it out. I can't say that I remember the exact thing. I didn't realize that was the case until just now. Yeah, I mean, I was 7. It's one of those things, feeling supported and loved by my parents never changed. I mean, yeah, maybe it's good that Harry doesn't remember his parents' divorce, because unfortunately, a lot of kids have their parents divorced when they're like a teenager, and you remember that shit, and it scars you for life, and it kind of interrupts your life, and you're all shook and shit, and it's awful. It's an awful situation when your parents get divorced. Luckily, my parents are not divorced, so I don't know what that feels like, but people in my extended family have gotten divorced. But hey, Harry's just trying to say that even though his parents did get divorced, he's always had loving parents and they were very supportive, so that's good. Also, Harry talked about his band White Eskimo, and he says, we wrote a couple of songs. One was called Gone in a Week. It was about luggage. And it says, I'll be gone in a week or two, trying to find myself someplace new. I don't need any jackets or shoes. The only luggage I need is you. I was like, sick. To be honest though, when Harry was in White Eskimo, wasn't he in like high school or something? Those lyrics are actually pretty good for just a high school band writing them. I mean, I'd buy it. If White Eskimo actually did make music, I would buy it. And this is where Harry started to talk about Taylor Swift, and let's just read it. So it says, Harry Styles on the photos of his second date with Taylor Swift at Central Park. He says, when I see the photos from that day, I think relationships are hard at any age, and adding in that you don't really understand exactly how it works when you're 18. Trying to navigate all that stuff didn't make it easier. I mean, you're a little bit awkward to begin with. You're on a date with someone you really like. It should be that simple, right? It was a learning experience for sure, but at the heart of it, I just wanted it to be a normal date. So like, part of me doesn't know what to think about that whole thing, because I think Harry did say that, but I think maybe what he said got taken out of context a little bit, like maybe they added more words or switched sentences around to make it seem like he was talking about that. But what I'm trying to say is I think Harry Styles was talking more in a general sense. And guys, as I said before, when Harry dated Taylor, I still can't convince myself that it was a date, by the way, but when he was doing that whole thing, he was 18, and maybe Harry didn't know himself back then, so maybe Harry was confused with his sexuality, or he thought he was straight, and maybe Taylor liked Harry more than Harry even liked Taylor, and they were literally only together for a month. So Harry was saying when he looks back on that, he sees that mistake. So while the media is trying to make it look like Harry and Taylor were such a thing and Harry's so hetero, I think in reality Harry was trying to make it look like, hey, I was 18, that didn't go well, and I look back on that and I'm cringing. Also, when Harry was talking about Taylor, it says, was he able to tell her that he admired the songs? Yes and no, he says after a long pause. She doesn't need me to tell her they're great. They're great songs. It's the most amazing unspoken dialogue ever. Is there anything he'd want to say to Swift today? He says, maybe this is where you write down that I left. He laughs and looks off. I don't know. Certain things don't work out. There's a lot of things that can be right and it's still wrong. In writing songs about stuff like that, I like tipping a hat to the time together. I like how they put time together in italics, like, really, bitch? Part of me really can't see Harry saying that, and guys, I bet if Harry did say that, it was sarcasm, because we all know that Taylor Swift's lyrics are all about getting with every guy in the world, breaking up with them, and then her making herself look like the victim. I think Harry was being sarcastic, but this article is trying to get away with it because they know it's not a televised interview. There's no audio, there's no video, it's just text. So they know that they can manipulate Harry's words, make it sound like he's in love with Taylor Swift, or he was, but in reality, how much you want to bet that Harry was just using sarcasm? Plus, guys, someone said that when Harry got asked about Taylor in the interview, he literally got up, said he was going to the bathroom, and he never came back. He avoided that motherfucking question. And that's the shit that they don't tell you. It also says he notes a more recent relationship, possibly over now, but significant for the past few years. He says she's a huge part of the album, says Styles. Sometimes you want to tip the hat, and sometimes you just want to give them the whole cap and hope they know it's just for them. This is the part where I think it was taken out of context. They're trying to make it seem like Harry's talking about a girlfriend or some love of his, or like Taylor or Kendall, or heck, even Carolyn Flack. I don't fucking know. But they said she. I'm pretty sure in the real interview, Harry probably was talking about his mom or Louis's mom because she just passed away, or maybe some friend of Harry's or someone in his family, but they made it seem like it was a love interest because it's Harry Styles. But I'm just saying that that paragraph could have easily been taken out of context. I mean, look, Harry even says this: since I've been 10, it's kind of felt like I'd have to protect my mom at all costs. My mom is very strong. She has the greatest heart. Her house in Cheshire is where I want to go when I want to spend some time. See, do you really think a boy like that, who talks about his mom like that, would say all that other womanizing shit? No. Harry loves his mom so much, so after saying that, there's a possible chance that he could have written most of the album about her. Also, Harry says pink is the only true rock and roll color. I love when men wear pink and they try to pass it off as like badass, like, oh yeah, pink is so rock and roll, that's why I wear it. Like, okay, Harry, whatever you say, you and your rose gold laptop and your rose gold phone and all your pink shit and accessories and all that. Look, I'm not trying to say pink makes you gay because that's not true. That's an awful stereotype. But hey, all I'm gonna say is the way they're trying to portray Harry in this interview, like as a womanizer kind of, it doesn't match up to this Harry, the one who loves pink. But if you want my opinion, I think GQ magazine in 2013 really made Harry more of a womanizer than Rolling Stone ever did. It also says he doesn't Google himself and checks Twitter infrequently. I'll tell you about Twitter, he continues, discussing the volley of tweets, some good, some cynical, that met his endorsement of the Women's March on Washington earlier this year. It's the most incredible way to communicate closely with people, but not as well as in person. Yeah, Harry's like those old school kind of people who like to talk to people in person. How disgusting. I'm kidding, but no, seriously, that's probably why Harry's never on Twitter. Also, this says the songs on Harry's album range from full-on rock, Kiwi, to intricate psychedelic pop, Meet Me in the Hallway. Ooh, so now we know what kind of songs there are on the album. Harry also says, that's not up to you to say. Music is something that's always changing. There's no goalposts. Young girls like the Beatles. You gonna tell them they're not serious? How can you say young girls don't get it? They're our future doctors, lawyers, mothers, presidents. They kind of keep the world going. Teenage girl fans, they don't lie. If they like you, they're there. They don't act too cool. They like you and they tell you, which is sick. Okay guys, I have something to say about this post. When I first read that post, I did not believe that Harry Styles actually said that shit. I thought I was reading a post off of Instagram or Tumblr or Twitter. Like, I thought a fan wrote that. I thought like some teenage girl on the internet wrote that shit and she was being like a feminist, which is great. When I found out that Harry Styles wrote that, well not wrote that, but said that, this is why Harry is my idol. The fact that he said those words, like he spoke so good about young girls, fans, and just this whole feminist thing. I know a lot of people cringe when they hear that guys are feminists, but you know what? Fuck you. This is why Harry is my idol. And you know what? I really identify with what he said because you know how many older people don't take our fandom seriously? Do you know how many people think that, oh, One Direction fans, they don't like good music, or like the whole One Direction fan base is just like little girls and stuff. Like, they underestimate us and they don't think that our music interests are real or something because of our age group and the fact that we like a boy band. Like, why is that underestimated? Because I feel like the One Direction fandom is not taken seriously. And let me tell you, this GQ magazine and Rolling Stone, do you think that someone who's a womanizer would say that about women? Also, Harry says, didn't read it, but I hope he gets more than me. Harry on a fan fiction series featuring a punky, sexed up version of Harry Styles. Are they talking about After? Like, what fan fiction are they talking about? Because I bet I read it. No, I did not read After because that's gross, but I wonder if I read it. It better be a gay, punked up version of Harry Styles, not like a het one. Wow, I sound so judgmental right now. But no, guess what? A womanizer wouldn't say that either. And look at this post. This says, you mean to tell me the guy that hasn't used a gender-specific pronoun since 2010 is out there now just dropping them like grenades? Yes, exactly. That's why I didn't understand this interview. They make Harry drop one, well, swear words, and two, they're making him say like she all the time. And do you really think that someone who hasn't used gender-specific pronouns in so long would just use them so much during this interview now? That's why I feel like, since this is a printed interview and there's no video, there's no audio, Rolling Stone knew that they could get away with making Harry say whatever they wanted to, like manipulate what he said. I mean, guys, literally a day ago, Harry was just out wearing a rainbow pin. I think that was a sign to everybody saying, hey, you guys know the real me, you guys know the outfits that I wear, you guys know what I do. So when that Rolling Stone interview comes out tomorrow, you're gonna see all these swear words and these gender-specific pronouns, and that is not me. They wrote that and lied. So see, guys, Harry does shit for a reason. That's probably why he wore that damn rainbow pin the other day, because that was before the whole magazine got released. This also says, after almost 2 months, the band left the island with a bounty of songs and stories, like the time Styles ended up drunk and went from the ocean, toasting everybody, wearing a dress he traded with someone's girlfriend. I don't remember the toast, he says, but I remember the feeling. See, guys, that is the true Harry Styles. He's not out there like looking for a girlfriend. He's not out there canoodling. If anything, the only thing he does with people's girlfriends is steal their dresses and wears them. Oh, fuck, I love him. The first time I read that Harry Styles stole some girlfriend's dress and wore it, like, why aren't there pictures? I really need that in my life. This also says, lyrics from Harry's black notebook. And promises are broken like a stitches. I got splinters in my knuckles crawling across the floor. Couldn't take you home to mother in a skirt that short. But I think that's what I like about it. I see you gave him my old t-shirt. More of what was once mine. Now look, I love those lyrics. They're deep, they're poetic. It would make a great song. Don't you think that they only picked that lyric out of Harry's black notebook? How much you want to bet that he has other lyrics in that black notebook that are more gender neutral, possibly about Louis, you know, like, let us love, she doesn't deserve your heart, or whatever the fuck. He wrote that on his brown journal. Why the fuck are you looking at his black journal? How many journals does he even have? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that regardless of what is in Harry's black journal for song ideas, it doesn't matter if they're gender specific in there, it matters what is produced at the end of the day. And guess what is being produced at the end of the day, bitch? Gender neutral pronoun shit. All the songs that Harry writes, all the songs that he puts out, it's all gender neutral. So whatever he writes in that black notebook, even if it is gender specific, well, it didn't make it into the song, so. And also, guys, keep this in mind. Rolling Stones was the same magazine that made Troye Sivan look straight. Just keep that in mind. Like, they actually do this with a lot of people. They've lied about other stories, so whatever they're saying about Harry doesn't mean all of it's true. This also says, are you telling me that Harry went wild with the pink accessories, clothes, the bee tattoo, the Louis tweet, and the gender neutral sketches during the last week? He was spotted by stalkers when he was wearing his rainbow pin. He made sure to be papped with said rainbow pin, and we got those pap pics one day before his Rolling Stones interview. Earlier today, we got a Rolling Stones interview that rehashes every single het stunt. The heteronormative interview led to a wave of new articles about Hendel and Haler. Yeah, apparently the media are not aware that this is 2017. Yeah, so this is kind of what I was saying before. We really have to pay attention to the signs. Harry has been dressing very feminine. He's had his rainbow pin. He's done other stuff. Not that makes you gay, but just the fact that they're trying to make him seem the opposite in the magazine. It's evident that a lot of this stuff was misconstrued and taken out of context. Also, we got this person saying, so sick of promoters hiding the fact that he's gay. It's 2017, wake up. It's okay now to let the boy be who he wants. And the person says, is he really gay? And they said, yeah, when me and my partner were in Los Angeles, we saw him at Mickey's and he was with a guy and they weren't just talking. And it says, he's not a fan. I repeat, he's not a fan. This was under a Haler article. So I don't know whether to believe this. I know people can just type stuff and lie, so I don't want to get my hopes up. But I mean, I hope it's true. And the fact that they're claiming that this guy is not even a fan, so it's not biased. I mean, look, all I'm gonna say is it's possible. And also, guys, regardless if you think Harry is gay or bi or whatever, if Harry is bi, if he talks about girls in an interview, he's going to seem straight to the media because all he's going to talk about is girls. Since you like both genders, you can kind of get away with like acting or looking straight, sort of, or I should say appearing straight. I mean, look, I'm gay, but if I was bi, I could sit here and talk about how much I like guys to you and I would appear straight, but in reality I like girls as well, but I just like never talk about them. So guys, even if Harry's talking about girls in interviews, there's a chance that he could still be bi. If a guy talks about girls, it doesn't mean he's automatically straight. He could like guys too, but maybe he just can't talk about it in an interview, or he's not out yet and he's too afraid to. I think Harry is coming out more with his style and his clothing more than his words. And I feel like Harry's the type of person to say like, I don't need to come out. I don't feel like a person who's gay needs to come out because straight people don't need to come out. So maybe that's Harry's kind of mentality, and I kind of agree with it. I don't think anybody should really need to come out. I mean, it is 2017. This also says Harry is in London as he will be performing in the Graham Norton show this weekend. Oh my god, so we have another thing to die over? Like, I'm still not recovering from SNL and his freaking 2 songs he sang, and now he's gonna be on the Graham Norton show. Oh my god, guys, he might perform live again. And how much you want to bet that if he has an interview with him, we will hear the real Harry Styles because it will be a video interview and not just printed. And lastly, I'd like to talk about this. This person tweets at Ben Winston, why did you say Harry lived in your attic after the X Factor for 20 months when so many interviews with 1D says he lived with Louis? And Ben Winston says, I didn't. The article did. It was well after X Factor. So basically in the fandom, not a lot of people like Ben Winston. And basically in his interview, he made Harry out to be this womanizer, saying that when Harry lived with him, he would bring in a lot of women at night and there would be like a ton of them. It was just a really gross interview, and I don't get that if he's Harry's friend, like why would he make Harry out to be a womanizer? But anyway, Ben Winston made it seem like after X Factor, Harry lived with him, and they completely erased the whole Louis and Harry history when even antis can admit that Louis and Harry lived together. Louis and Harry even admitted it in an interview. Like, that's just a fact. Louis and Harry lived together. Even Louis said, we live together, deal with it. So the fact that Ben Winston was just trying to erase that whole era, he was like, oh yeah, Harry lived with me and he brought in women. Like, that's bullshit. But then again, Ben Winston is trying to make it sound like he never said that because he says, I didn't, the article did. Which, if Ben Winston's not lying, if the article said that and he didn't, that just proves that the article makes up shit. I don't know whether to believe him or not, but it's true that articles can just type shit and you didn't even say that at all. So if Ben Winston didn't say that, there's a possible chance that whatever Harry said about Taylor Swift and women, that was totally bullshit. I feel like since this was a printed interview, they took advantage of that and manipulated Harry's words. I feel like when Harry gets a real interview, like on the Graham Norton show, that's if there will be an interview, we will hear the real him because he'll be right there. It will be a video interview. So yeah, I think I covered everything in that magazine, from good stuff to bad stuff to suspicious stuff. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, I would like to apologize for how much I talked. I talk really fast and sometimes I ramble, sometimes it doesn't make sense. So I'm really sorry for you English speakers and you non-English speakers. Like, I know some of you, English is not your first language, so it's probably hella hard to understand what I was saying. But just know that I'm shook, and when I'm shook, I talk fast and I don't make sense. So I really hope that that this video made sense to you guys. But anyway, I make a video whenever I want, so like and subscribe. All my social media is down in the description, and I will see you guys later. Bye.
My honey bun sugar plum, pumpy umby umpkin, you're my sweetie pie.